Hello book lovers, welcome to Uncommon Reader. It's Daniela and here today with you to share my February reads. Let's see what I'm reading this month. I actually have 4 books that I'm reading at the same time, but they are kind of different to each other. So depending on my mood or depending also on the type of books, sometimes there are books that need a little more time to sort of soak in what you're reading. For example, this is a body read that I'm doing with the Precious of Reading Through the Generations. We're reading On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Voung, and the writing is so intense, so poetic that this cannot be a page turner like others that I will show you later. And I feel like I really need to pause every time I read a passage of this book and really soak it in. I have to share a little passage of right the first page, a series of letters that our son writes to his mom, but that she cannot read. But so moving and touching so far. Let me begin again. Dear Mom, I'm writing to reach you, even if each word I put down is one word further from where you are. I'm writing to go back to the time at the rest stop in Virginia when you stared, horror-struck, at the taxidermy buck hung over the soda machine by the restrooms, its antlers shadowing your face. In the car, you kept shaking your head. I don't understand why they would do that. Can't they see it's a corpse? A corpse should go away, not get stuck forever like that. I think now of that buck, how you stared into its black glass eyes and saw your reflection, your whole body warped in that lifeless mirror. How it was not the grotesque mounting of a decapitated animal that shook you, but that the taxidermy embodied a death that won't finish, a death that keeps dying as we walk past it to relieve ourselves. I'm writing because they told me to never start a sentence with because. But I wasn't trying to make a sentence. I was trying to break free. Because freedom, I'm told, is nothing but a distance between the hunter and its prey. Wow, it's so intense. So this book is a series of little moments between this man as a child and his mom. I just have one really quick more to read. That time when I was 5 or 6 and playing a prank, leapt out at you from behind the hallway door, shouting, "Boom!" You screamed, face racked and twisted, then burst into sobs, clutched your chest as you leaned against the door, gasping. I stood bewildered, my toy army helmet tilted on my head. I was an American boy parroting what I saw on TV. I didn't know that the war was still inside you, that there was a war to begin with, that once it enters you, it never leaves, but merely echoes a sound forming the face of your own son. Boom. Wow, of course, this is a story of a Vietnamese family emigrated into USA, and I can wait to read more, but again, I just have to read a few pages a day because this is so profound that really needs its own time. I'm also reading this book by Italo Calvino. In English, the title is The Castle of Crossed Destinies. I have to say this is not my favorite Calvino. This is sort of more of like a fantasy, a surreal type of book, which is kind of sometimes his style. Calvino is a very versatile author. This is a series of really short stories, and it takes place in this castle first and then a tavern where people, travelers meet. It's like a bar, right? And they meet, but they are unfortunately in that moment unable to speak. So through tarot cards, they are telling their stories, and this is quite interesting, how creative Calvino is, because Calvino had a fascination for tarots, and this is definitely something I didn't know before. And how he played building this short stories collection is that he would draw the tarot cards, and whenever he had a sequence that he thought could transform into a short story, then he would write it down, and this is the result. Just yesterday, I also started I Am Cleopatra by Natasha Solomons. This is a very light and fun read, and actually I made a point that I'm gonna have like a very light and fun book to read at least once a month, because I'm reading always things that are very emotional and deep. But I do love Natasha Solomon's style, and in this retelling of Cleopatra, we are in that zone where you are wanting to turn the page over and over. I didn't know much about Cleopatra besides that she dated a couple of Italians back in the days. But I do enjoy retellings where we probably see a much better side of certain historical figures or mythological figures. So I've enjoyed another retelling of Natasha Solomon's I want to mention. I don't remember the title in English. I don't know if it was Rosalind and Romeo, but anyway, the character of Romeo got really slammed in that book, and I kind of enjoyed it actually. So yeah, it's fun to read, and a very light and easy read, especially for the weekend. Okay, one more emotional read for me. This is The Shadow of the Mountains in my Italian version. I haven't read any pages for the last few days, just because I started my February TBR, so I wanted to focus on that. And so I would probably return to this book when I feel I'm in a good position with all the books that I plan to read in February. Usually I try to finish my TBR a bit earlier than the end of the month, so I can, sort of add a few reads here and there, or continue reading books that I'm carrying through a couple of months or 3. I will probably carry this in March as well, and this is another buddy read that I'm doing with an Italian channel for my Italian BookTube channel. Next, I have 2 very, very moving books. I know I might maybe cry here. I don't know. I will see. But we're sort of in the testimonial literature or maybe historical fiction. This is a Goncourt Prize of 2024. I actually don't understand why they call it 2024 when this was rewarded in 2025, but I guess that's because it was published in 2024, and then they do the awards the year after, so I'm not sure. This is not available in English yet, but I did want to mention this book, not just because it's a Goncourt Prize, but also because of the story. Uri stands actually for Houris in French and other languages. So I was curious why this book was called Uri or Houris, because actually looking at the plot of the story, it didn't sound like familiar. So I went on Google and looked it up. And here's what I found. In the context of Kamel Daoud's Houris, the title refers to the word Houris, which traditionally denotes the beautiful, pure companions promised to the faithful in Islamic belief as a reward in paradise. In Daoud's novel, the term is repurposed to evoke the real women of today and the contrast between myth and the lived experience of women in Algerian society. Yes, and we are in Algeria, and we're following the story of Alba, who is a young woman that lost all her family during the tragic civil war in Algeria in the 90s. So I'm very curious to read this book, also because I know nothing about the Algerian civil war in the 90s. So it's great that I can read an empowering story with a female protagonist, but also learn a little bit of history. And I am confident that this book will be translated in English, because it's been translated already in a variety of languages of European countries, so you'll find it. Last but not least, I felt like this book was calling me. It was about time, because it was waiting in my bookshelf for quite a long time, maybe like over a year. The Lion Women of Tehran. I got this as a present for Christmas last year. It was in my wish list. And thinking about what's going on in Iran in this past weeks, I felt like really the right time to pick up this book. I've read the previous book by Marianne Kamali, or Marjan Kamali, The Stationery Shop, which I really enjoyed. And The Lion Women of Tehran, it's another beautiful story of friendship. And let me read you from the synopsis. In 1950s Tehran, 7-year-old Ellie lives in grand comfort until the untimely death of her father, forcing her and her mother to move to a tiny home downtown. Lonely and bearing the brunt of her mother's endless grievance, Ellie dreams of having a friend to alleviate her isolation. Luckily, on the first day of school, she meets Homa, a kind, passionate girl with a brave and irrepressible spirit. Together, the two girls play games, learn to cook in the stone kitchen of Homa's warm home, wander through the colorful stalls of the Grand Bazaar, and share their ambitions for becoming lion women. But their happiness is disrupted when Ellie and her mother are afforded the opportunity to return to their previous bourgeois life. As Ellie enjoys her new popularity at the best girls' high school in Tehran, her memories of Homa begin to fade. Years later, however, Homa's sudden reappearance in Ellie's privileged world alters the course of both their lives. And I'm gonna stop here because I don't want any more spoilers. That's it. This is my current TBR. What do you think? Let me know what you're reading in the comments. I'll be happy to chat with you. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you like this video, please hit the like button and the subscribe one. I really appreciate you supporting my project. And I look forward to see you back here on Uncommon Reader pretty soon. Take care for now. Ciao.